Hello there. My name is Jacob Ray. This is my final presentation for Cybersecurity Capstone. The subject is access controls. I hope you enjoy it. Access controls are defined as all standardized controls utilized to ensure that only authorized individuals have access to protected data. This means locking down sensitive data so that only those whom are authorized will have access. There are four different access control models that have different focuses and applications based on what they're used for. These models have been developed and standardized over years by organizations that have specialized in data security, such as the National Security Agency. Incorporating and having an industry accepted and used access control model at our disposal is considered essential for defining followed processes. Coordinating access control procedure can be complicated inside a larger complex network. The four types of access control models that will be discussed are criterion-based, role-based, mandatory, and discretionary. Criterion-based access control is defined as in which the system is built around a set of predefined access control policies or rules. These rules are implemented by the system administrator for each protected object that is used by the reference monitor as a reference to make access decisions. The conditions are defined by the administrator and is raised when a request comes in to access to a specific object. Having this set for the whole system allows all security criterion to be recognized and enforced by a single automatic process that simplifies controlling access. CBAC is usually implemented using a predefined access control list, ACL. The ACL defines the users that authorize to access the system, their access rights, and their specific rights for each system object. In the ACL, every line entry stipulates either a subject, process, or specific access rights for any particular system object. Anytime a request is received, the ACL is automatically requested. ACLs are not limited to computer resources to protect stored information. An advantage of an ACL is that the administrator can set the access rights for each user distinctly, as it's based on the authorizations to that subject. Role-based access control, RBAC, is defined as a method of regulating access to a computer's or other network resources based on the user's roles within the company. With RBAC, access is the ability of a user to perform a specific task such as view, create, or modify files. Roles are based on the user seeking access to their job level, authority, and responsibility inside the company or group. When these controls are approximately carried out, they enable users to complete various authorized tasks by dynamically regulating their activities according to flexible functions, relationships, and constraints. This is the opposite of what was used in the past, which were rigid controls that granted or revoked user access based on a case-by-case basis. Mandatory access control, MAC, is defined as a set of strict rules to outline access rights and are directly derived from the security policies of the company. In basic terms, MAC is a security strategy that restricts a user's ability to grant or deny access to resource objects that they own within the network file system. These controls are usually employed in stricter environments that are controlled by the military or other government-controlled organizations. The criterion that's used is defined the system administrator or domain admins and are strictly enforced by the operating system or security kernel. Users cannot modify these controls and should not be given the level to do so. Classification labels are assigned to each file system object. These classifications are comprised of confidential, secret, and top secret. A necessary clearance level is required to access resources within the system. Each user and device connected to the network requires and is assigned a classification and clearance level. The OS, or security kernel, will check when a user or device on the network attempts to access a specific resource and determines whether or not their access is granted or denied. This method has the most secure access control settings available, but you must be careful implementing these. It requires carefully considered planning and continuous monitoring to make that all resource objects and users are kept up to data in regards to their classification and clearance levels. Discretionary Access Control, DAC, is defined as a security policy that grants or restricts access to objects using an access policy determined by the owner of the object or resource. They're also known as strict control or controlling access through assignment. Basically, the user has complete control over all of the objects and resources it owns and executes, and can determine who can access them. DAC is commonly described as the need-to-know basis access model, since it requires permissions to be assigned to the user that need access to see them. The mechanism controls are defined by user identification with their network credentials when prompted during the authentication process. The objects, resources, and information access can be transferred to other users at the owner's discretion. Each type of access control has their strengths and weaknesses. The newer types of access control are based on the foundation of the older approaches. The thing that they all have in common is that they're all predefined controls to ensure secure access to network systems and resources. Criterion-based access control, CBAC, is one of the older access control models. Mandatory access control, MAC, is the strictest access control model. Discretionary access control, DAC, is controlled by each user independently. We must choose wisely when implementing access control models in our networks and resources for what's best for us. I would like to thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.